Rhea Ripley vs. Kairi Sane vs. Liv Morgan vs. Roxanne Perez, Queen of the Ring Tournament Fatal 4-Way Match. The King and Queen of the Ring tournaments begin tonight on Raw. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis and Raw General Manager Adam Pearce came together to designate that the tournaments begin with 4 fatal 4-way matches for the men and women. One winner from each match will advance to singles competition in the semifinals, and the finals will be held at WWE Night of Champions on Saturday, June 28. The victorious male and female superstars will earn world title matches at SummerSlam. The opening women's showdown will see Rhea Ripley, Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez go to war to earn a semifinal spot in the tournament. R-Truth, new WWE Tag Team partner. Along with Damian Priest, R-Truth formed a close friendship with Rhea Ripley during his time trying to join the Judgment Day. When Truth announced that his contract would not be renewed, Ripley was among the first WWE stars to reply and express how heartbroken she was to hear this news. Despite being one of the most popular female stars in the company, Rhea is someone who was very helpful against the men's division as seen during her time in the Judgment Day. With Truth going to war with John Cena, he will need all the backup possible, with the likes of The Rock and Travis Scott watching the undisputed WWE champion, with Rhea being someone who could handle her own against the megastars. WWE Raw Preview June 9th. Jey Uso vs. Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. Last week's episode of Raw delivered high-stakes action with big-name players. Stephanie Vaquer and El Grande Americano each won triple threat matches to earn a spot in the women's and men's Money in the Bank matches, respectively. This week's Raw will be the first event since Saturday's Money in the Bank, where Seth Rollins claimed the all-powerful briefcase, and with a World Heavyweight Championship match set to happen, it's certain to be an electric night. What else can be expected? Scroll on for everything to know about Raw this week in Money in the Bank results. WWE Raw June 9th card. Jey Uso vs. Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea Ripley vs. Liv Morgan vs. Roxanne Perez vs. Kairi Sane. Dominik Mysterio vs. Sami Zayn vs. Braun Breaker vs. Penta. Additionally, the King and Queen of the Ring tournament matches will kick off, and John Cena, Nikki Bella, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods are listed to appear. What happened on WWE Raw last week? Stephanie Vaquer defeated Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile in a Money in the Bank 2025 qualifying match. The Judgment Day defeated the War Raiders. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn defeated Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker by disqualification. Kairi Sane defeated Raquel Rodriguez. El Grande Americano defeated CM Punk and AJ Styles in a Money in the Bank 2025 qualifying match. Money in the Bank 2025 card winners. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeated John Cena and Logan Paul. Seth Rollins defeated Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Andrade, and El Grande Americano in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Naomi defeated Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Becky Lynch defeated Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. WWE Raw Preview May 19th. Jey Uso vs. Braun Breaker and more. Last week's episode of Raw had a little bit of everything. Jey Uso and Gunther coming face-to-face for an intense conversation, CM Punk verbally jousting with Paul Heyman, and Dominik Mysterio being taught about time zones. It was the first Raw post-Backlash. Intentions were brewing, and it's only going to get more intense as Money in the Bank draws nearer, with qualifying matches kicking off on SmackDown and continuing into Raw. Scroll on for additional details regarding what to expect from the next episode of Raw. WWE Raw May 19th card. Sheamus vs. Grayson Waller. Jey Uso vs. Braun Breaker. AJ Styles and Penta vs. The Judgment Day. Additionally, there will be Money in the Bank qualifying matches and superstars including Gunther, Penta, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are also listed as featured superstars. By Netflix. Search. Home. Top 10. Trending. What to watch. Shows. Movies. Podcasts. Shop. Popular. Ginny and Georgia. Straw. Squid Game. Stranger Things. Department Q. Sirens. Wednesday. The Royals. A Widow's Game. Havoc. WWE Raw Preview May 19th, Jey Uso vs. Braun Breaker, Sheamus vs. Grayson Waller, and more Netflix Totem. News. WWE Raw Preview May 19th, Jey Uso vs. Braun Breaker and more. Money in the Bank qualifying matches are kicking off. By Christopher Hudspeth. May 20th, 2025. Last week's episode of Raw had a little bit of everything. Jey Uso and Gunther coming face-to-face for an intense conversation, CM Punk verbally jousting with Paul Heyman, and Dominik Mysterio being taught about time zones. It was the first Raw post-Backlash intentions were brewing, and it's only going to get more intense as Money in the Bank draws nearer, with qualifying matches kicking off on SmackDown and continuing into Raw. Scroll on for additional details regarding what to expect from the next episode of Raw. WWE Raw May 19th card. Sheamus vs. Grayson Waller. Jey Uso vs. Braun Breaker. AJ Styles and Penta vs. The Judgment Day. Additionally, there will be Money in the Bank qualifying matches and superstars including Gunther, Penta, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are also listed as featured superstars. What happened on WWE Raw last week? Penta defeated Chad Gable. The Creed brothers defeated the War Raiders. AJ Styles defeated Finn Balor. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defeated Roxanne Perez and Julia. Where is WWE Raw this week? The May 19th episode of Raw takes place at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. How can I get tickets to WWE Raw? Click here to see the upcoming schedule for Raw and other WWE events. What time does WWE Raw start? Rhea Ripley expected to undergo significant creative shift in WWE. Rhea Ripley's aspirations to secure a championship opportunity were dashed at WWE Money in the Bank, where she was unable to win the women's ladder match. The victory ultimately went to Naomi, who now holds the contract for a title match of her choosing. For Ripley, the loss represents the latest in a series of significant setbacks in high-profile situations. This string of defeats has fueled speculation that a major character change could be on the horizon for Ripley, who has not operated as a heel since late January 2024. After being betrayed by Dominik Mysterio at SummerSlam 2024, she transitioned into a fan-favorite role, a run that has now lasted nearly 500 days and saw her team with Damian Priest. A frustrating pattern of defeats. The potential for a character shift stems from a frustrating run for the decorated superstar in 2025. The troubles began on the March 3rd episode of WWE Raw, where she lost the Women's World Championship to Io Sky. Ripley then failed to recapture the gold at WrestleMania 41 in a blockbuster triple threat match that also involved Bianca Belair. Her inability to win the Money in the Bank briefcase is the third major loss in a row. This contrasts sharply with her earlier momentum, which included winning the same title from Liv Morgan on January 6, 2025, and successfully defending it against Nia Jax later that month. Her history with Sky was already intense, evidenced by a title match between them on the March 31st episode of WWE Raw in London that ended in a double disqualification. A return to a more villainous persona could see Ripley renewing her aggressive rivalry with Io Sky. A targeted attack on the genius of the Sky would be a definitive way to signal a heel turn, directly setting up another intense championship program between the two rivals. A six-time champion across WWE's main roster and developmental brands, Ripley's frustration could boil over into a quest to reclaim the top spot by any means necessary. For now, any potential heel turn remains speculative. It remains to be seen what creative direction WWE has planned for one of its top stars following her recent string of losses on major stages. Point 4 WWE superstars who shouldn't win Queen of the Ring. WWE announced that the first Queen of the Ring Fatal 4-Way qualifying match on Raw would pit Liv Morgan against Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Kairi Sane. The other brackets are set to be revealed over this week, with an important title shot at SummerSlam against the world champion of the winner's brand. The tournament is more important than ever. Factor in that WWE has loaded up the roster with some of the most talented names in NXT history, and the stakes become even higher. Since some women have had more title opportunities over the last 2 years, they should not win the Queen of the Ring Tournament 2025. The next 4 WWE stars fit that bill. Nia Jax was the Queen of the Ring last year. The Annihilator enjoyed one of the best years of her WWE career in 2024. She won the Queen of the Ring tournament and then the Women's Championship at SummerSlam by beating Bayley. She did fall to Liv Morgan in the inaugural Crown Jewel Championship match, but Dominik Mysterio interfered as usual. Jax reigned over SmackDown as its top woman until Tiffany Stratton successfully cashed in her Money in the Bank contract in early January. Jax had her time last year and doesn't need to win the tournament 2 years in a row. She's also had several title shots since losing the title, against both Stratton and Ripley. Liv